We dug into the ET vault.
Oh no!
To 1996 and found Kathy Griffin's first ET interview.
Can I see it?
Yes, it's right there.
Look.
So here we are, a few minutes from routine. What's going through your mind?
I want to make sure that my friends laugh because that's what I'm most nervous about. Otherwise, I never get nervous when I do stand-up. But I have friends here tonight, so I want them to think I'm funny. Also, I hope that there's something you can use for entertainment tonight. Good luck. I have to tell you about, I had a really, really severe hemorrhoid. Stay with me. No, do not judge. Do not judge. The kind of stand-up that I do is very story-oriented, and it's stuff that is true. It's all stuff that really happens to me or my own observation. So I'm hoping that if people get to know me, or maybe they like the character on the show, or they think I'm funny, then they'll let me really do my thing. Because I'm not a joke person. I'm not a joke man. You know, I don't like make up the joke about the guy at the 7-Eleven with the dot on his head. What's that about? I don't do not in a rabbi walk into a bar type of humor. So maybe people will be more accepting of me if they get to know me a little.
Sometimes being a stand-up can be the most unforgiving of all of the
It can be brutal.
It can be brutal. Those nights where you're at 2 a.m, no one's in the audience, you get that one big bombing.
The worst bomb I ever had was I did the Montreal Comedy Fest last year, and I bit it so bad that there wasn't even like exit applause. There was nothing, and you just hear my little Doc Martens clip-clopping off stage, and then this happens. Oh yeah, all night long. But that doesn't happen at the Cabaret.
Oh my gosh. And the curly hair is back.
Yes.
That was 2 noses ago. I love the nostalgia.
Watching that back, what do you think of Kathy in 1996?
Can I tell you what surprises me? It's surprising how similar my sort of philosophy is. Like, besides the fact that I was like, oh, I have my real actual curly hair back. Very shallow, I apologize. But I was thinking, yeah, I still say that. Like, I just want to make people laugh more than anything. I don't do like knock-knock jokes. I don't do the difference between New York and LA. And so the dog's thinking. So it's funny. Like, when people ask that question, which I know you won't, like, what would you say to 6-year-old Kathy right now? You know, I always say, you know, I'd tell her to be a whore and make some good money, which is for the gag reel. I guess I'm sort of laughing at all those years ago, and I'm not really that different. And I will admit that I am pretty much the same off camera. You know, like, I've been this annoying for decades. That's what made me a star. But hopefully honest, hopefully funny first. That's my motto, funny first. So I love that I was doing the Uncabaret. Did you ever know I'd gone to do Radio City Music Hall? 7,400 people.
That's what you would tell.
Well,
Kathy.
I would never have, she would never have believed it. But I would say someday you're going to do Carnegie Hall and you're going to sell it off so fast, you're going to do Radio City the next night, which no comic has ever done. I'm sorry, what am I doing? I'm not sure. Am I looking for my light? What's happening?
Looking for Jesus? I don't know.
Found him. Oh, you know where people usually find Jesus? In jail. I love when people go to jail.
First Amendment attorney said they're considering charging you with conspiracy to assassinate the President of the United States, which holds a lifetime sentence. You didn't know that part, did you?
2.5 years since that photo.
The photo!
Can you believe you're still having to talk about it 2.5 years later?
It's all I'm asked about. So honestly, I'm so thrilled and grateful that I got to make this feature film, Kathy Griffin, A Hell of a Story. I gotta tell you, this doc has gotten me the best reviews I've ever gotten in my career. It's insane. I've been going to film festivals. This weekend, I'm doing the Downtown LA Film Festival at DTLA FF. So, you know, you can come to see the post in conversation with myself and my pal, comedy genius Aubrey Plaza. It's kind of unusual. It's called a docu-comedy because the first third is very gritty documentary. Yes. It's like only shot on our phones, and it's like I call it, there's some gritty, no makeup crying Kathy. I was detained at every single airport that I went to. I was held for 6 hours. And obviously it's getting to me.
How are you able to find the strength to move forward, pick up, and live another day and not just give in to what felt like the world was turning against you?
Honestly, I felt like it was necessary. I was on a comedy mission. You know, I'm 58 years old. I've been doing stand-up for 40 years. I have 2 Emmys and a Grammy. I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records for having written and produced more televised stand-up comedy specials than any comedian living or dead. Sold out Carnegie Hall in 12 hours. All of that went by the wayside. All of that meant nothing. I don't have nearly as many Hollywood friends because many of them who ditched me never came back, which gave me some clarity. But I've gotten to know a lot of lawyers, a lot of journalists, a lot of politicos and stuff like that. I still have, like, honestly, my core of good friends, naturally.
In all this, what relationship was the hardest to mourn, to lose?
Well, I think, you know, a lot of it was tough. I mean, my boyfriend who I live with, and he's my tour manager as well, you know, his family struggles with him now in a way that shouldn't have happened. I have not heard from one person named Griffin in months, if not years.
Even your siblings?
I only have one sibling left.
Okay.
And, you know, I think some of it was their own guilt, because I think everyone does know, and what I think hopefully comes across in this film is that feeling you have when you're getting what I call a dog pile, and you think certain people are going to kind of be there for you, and sometimes you get surprised and they're not there at all. And then you have to figure out, okay, you know, is this someone that has like a legit reason? Is this someone that maybe doesn't have the fortitude to be my friend after all? So there's a lot of nuance involved, and I'm kind of always navigating those waters.
You brought up Randy. I remember November of last year, you guys released a statement that you were splitting up.
We did take a 4-month break. Okay. I know it's very Maury Povich, but as I don't think I'm pregnant at 58. So it wasn't one of those Maury's like we're on a break, wink, wink, and now there's a paternity test. But yeah, we took a little break and we're back, and now, you know, we just came to the decision, like, we've really been through so much together. We've now been together over 8 years, and even though he's 19 years younger, we both turned to each other and went, this is the longest relationship for both of us, you know, we should fight for it and make it work. And so we've never been happier, and
good.
You know, it's just one of those things where it was a lot of pressure.
The pressure, and I imagine the family stuff you brought up
I
contributed to all that.
feel very guilty about bringing that on him, really, or anybody that, I mean, even I'm like sort of jokingly complaining about my relatives, but honestly, I don't want any of them to have to deal with this in a negative way.
Yeah.
I do want them to know the real story. Like, I don't want them to be watching like propaganda and think, like I said, that I'm actually like in a training camp at ISIS. Because, you know, my favorite joke is when people confront me about being in ISIS and they think I'm in ISIS. I go, I worked in the gift shop for a week, get over it. And they just don't know what to do. They're like, did she admit it, or did she make fun of me? And I'm like, the second.
It turns out there is such a thing as bad publicity. I'm Kathy Griffin, and I never learned my lesson.
Now, you said you want to get back to a place where you're getting to do at least a special a year.
Yeah,
What else?
I'd love like some sort of a consistent TV presence. Like, I'm still a TV animal. It's still the most watched medium. You know, I just want to do whatever makes people laugh, and I'm really not precious about it. Whether it's a commercial or a special or a series or a tour or a story arc in a series, I would like to do something that, number one, reminds people it's Kathy Griffin that you've known for years, making you laugh, primarily as a comedian. And it would be nice to do something where more Americans could kind of get back to that place. Like, obviously, I look at Fonda and I look at the body of work she's had since her scandal, and it gives me great joy to go, oh, good, you got over that. You see that she's funny and she's still an activist, and yet she's on a great show, Grace and Frankie, and something like that is always nice. And so I'm always kind of throwing out a whole bunch of things to see which thing people respond to.
Probably not a Suddenly Susan revival, though.
You know, who knows? Who knows? I would actually rather that someone bought all 6 seasons of My Life on the D-List, because I love that a lot of these streaming services are sort of rediscovering shows that have a nostalgia factor.
Everybody's talking about your figure, how great it is. And so you have to kind of go easy on them, okay? Not 2, 3, 4 pieces in a row.
And you just got knocked back down.
I personally am really touched when anyone comes up to me and says, like, you know, a guy says, I would watch your show with my mom and we would laugh, and then it made it easier for me to tell her I was gay. Or people would say, you know, your show was funny and the rapport that you had with your parents was funny, and so it would be a show that I would watch with my parents. Or I'd have, you know, housewives saying, you know, my husband doesn't get you, but I never miss your show. Yeah. And I'm always trying to just make as many people laugh as possible in any way that I can, any format.
I have another clip for you to watch.
Okay.
This is one of your celebrity fans wanted to say hi.
Oh, perfect.
Hi, Kathy, I love you so much. My earliest memories of stand-up was stealing your specials on LimeWire because I lived in the country, didn't have cable. So I do owe you a couple bucks, but I love you so much.
Trixie Mattel.
I love her. I think she's so great. And I just love Trixie because she is who she is. She does what she does. She has fun. I think she has a great attitude. And she's out there. And I think that's what our fans love about her.
Oh, yeah.
People like real. You know, they really, I've noticed, you know, whether it's My Life on the D List or making this docu-comedy, people can smell out the phony. And so I think Trixie's popular with her fan base and should have an even bigger fan base, darn it, because she's real. She obviously has a great sense of humor. She goes there, she goes all in, and I like that.
Yeah.
And I think people like that. People like if you're gonna go in, go big or go home, you know.